So I invite you to find a comfortable position. Take a deep breath. And don't close your eyes. I want you to look out the window. Because when we walked in this morning, it was cloudy. It was a little dreary. Even when I was in the hall earlier and looking at the stained glass window, I went, oh, bummer. But now, since we've been in here, the sun has come out, and I see the flowering trees outside. And you probably can't see it from where you're sitting, but from where I'm sitting, I can see the lilacs. And I'm taking reassurance from it. So for a minute or so, look out the window that you can see most easily. And take note of the light. Take note of nature, the sunlight, the reality of the cycle of life, that even though it sometimes feels like it abuses us, it's still here. We're still here. Still being reminded that things will be okay. That the spring does actually come again. And that we are being held in the loving embrace of this reality. For all its challenges, for all its sorrows, for all its absences and its fights, that it still has us. It still holds us. It hasn't forgotten us. And it provides nourishment and care to this very moment. Take one final breath and return. So, Mother's Day arrives carrying many emotions. It would be unfair to speak of all the love and wonder and awesomeness of motherhood and not take note for a moment, at least, of all those of us who have challenging relationships with our mothers, or who wish that we had known our mother more, or had her longer, or maybe we wished that we were better mothers ourselves. It's okay to have both the Hallmark card version of motherhood in our reality, and also the other versions. That contrast breeds desire. That sometimes knowing what we ought to have had but didn't is the way of putting that energy into the field, that reality that ought to be. That form of nourishing, loving, supportive energy that we need more of in the world now. Today, Mother's Day is a day of gratitude and warmth. For others, a day of longing, grief, complexity, even ambivalence. It honors biological mothers, chosen mothers, ancestors, caregivers, mentors, but also those who have mothered ideas, movements, communities. When we hold Mother's Day alongside the seventh principle of Unitarian Universalism, a respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part, a deeper truth emerges. Motherhood is not only a role, it's a relationship, woven into the fabric of life itself. The seventh principle reminds us that none of us comes into being alone. We are formed by relationships, human and more than human, by air and water, soil and story, culture and care. Motherhood, in its broadest spiritual sense, is the practice of tending that web, nurturing life, protecting vulnerability, teaching the art of belonging, and knowing when to let go. At its heart, motherhood is an act of interdependence. From the earliest moments of life, survival depends upon connection. Infants will not flourish through independence. They flourish through relationship. So it is with the planet. So it is with our communities. So it is with our souls. The myth of radical self-sufficiency, it dissolves in the presence of caregiving love. The seventh principle calls us to notice when mothers of all kinds, but they have always known, that harm to one strand weakens the whole, and care for one strengthens many. I've always thought of the interdependent web like a spider web, and how, even though it is designed for predatory purposes, it actually serves as a really functioning metaphor for how that spider sitting in the middle can feel anything that disturbs the web because of how it's all connected. In the same way, a spiritually awake community learns to feel the suffering of ecosystems, marginalized people, future generations, and unseen neighbors. Interdependence is not abstract, it's intimate. To respect the interdependent web is to recognize that care is not merely sentimental, it is essential. Feeding, holding, listening, cleaning, teaching, advocacy. These acts may seem small, but they sustain life. Mothers have long known that love is expressed not only in grand gestures, but in daily devotion. The seventh principle invites us to likewise bring that same devotion to the wider world, to water and climate, to justice and policy, to the systems that shape who thrives and who is harmed. And there is also grief here. Many know the ache of mothers lost, mothers absent, mothers who could not give what was needed. Some carry grief for children lost or never born. The web holds that grief too. It also means we acknowledge that not all nurturing has been gentle. Not all care has been safe. Honoring motherhood does not require idealizing it. It requires truth, compassion, and sometimes repair. The seventh principle teaches that healing is communal. No single mother can protect the web alone. No single person can carry the weight of caregiving for a fractured world. Interdependence reminds us that caregiving must be shared across genders, across generations, cultures, institutions. When we expect mothers alone to hold families, communities, and futures together, the web frays. When caregiving is valued, supported, and shared, the web strengthens. Mother's Day then becomes a spiritual invitation. It asks us, how are we mothering the world right now? How are we nurturing what is fragile? How are we listening to what is crying out for care? And just as importantly, where do we need care ourselves? The seventh principle gives us hope because it tells the truth. We belong. Even in moments of exhaustion or despair, we are held by relationships larger than ourselves. We are shaped by ancestors we've never met, sustained by ecosystems we rarely notice, influenced by choices made far beyond our sight. To respect the web is to live with humility and responsibility, to leave only footprints, knowing our actions ripple outward in ways we may never fully see. On this Mother's Day, May we honor all who have nurtured life in bodies, in communities, in movements, and in dreams. May we bless those who mother quietly and those who mother fiercely, those who mother imperfectly, and those who longed to but could not. And may we remember that the earth itself is asking us to grow into a more mature, more compassionate relationship with her. May we live as grateful children of the web. May we become trustworthy caregivers within it. And may love, patient, resilient, and shared, be the legacy we pass on. Please rise for our closing hymn, Love Makes a Mother, which is an insert